Welcome to 20 Sided Adventures. We just crossed the 250 sub mark, so thank you guys for subbing and liking the channel. If you enjoy the content I'm putting out, talking about Pathfinder, TTRPGs, and GMing, please join us, sub, like the channel, drop a comment, and interact with it. I do appreciate the conversations and the discourse we have in the comment section here on YouTube. It's all been pretty positive, so let's keep that rolling. This video, we're going to be talking about the information that Paizo dropped at their live stream. They are like their own worst hype men. There is so much cool stuff that's included in this content release that they didn't talk about and didn't go into. You might have missed it. So hang in there. Let's talk about it. And we're going to dive right into it and tell you what's coming. All right, so with the War of Immortals, we knew we were getting two new classes, the Exemplar and the Animist. Those are on the way, but they just dropped a bomb that we are getting an additional two classes coming out. For the global conflict, there needs to be new warriors that arise to do battle on the mortal plane while the gods are doing battle. So we are going to be getting the Commander and the Guardian. They didn't drop too much information on this. The Commander was highlighted as being the Intelligent Commander and the Heavily Armored Guardian. So a lot of speculation going on, one being something similar to the Warlord from 4th edition D&D, which if you are not familiar, the Warlord is actually one of my favorite classes, and I really liked 4th edition, so you all can hate me in the comments for that, but that's a hill I'll die on. I think it was a really great concept. Anyways, the Warlord would spend your actions to command your party members and let them take actions. So you could command the battlefield and do opportune things that, like, if the fighter was in a good position to strike, you could give a command and the fighter would strike with your action. So I think something similar to that could be really cool. I hope we see something like that out of the Commander. And then the Guardian is supposed to be very heavily armored, so I'm very interested to see how that differentiates itself from the Champion, which is already kind of that defender class, and how that all works. We will be seeing a playtest coming out on the 29th, so I will be doing a deep dive into that when we get our hands on it and can see what we're looking at. So yeah, two new classes coming, so that's going to be 4 for the year. That is super exciting, but that is not all that's coming from the War of Immortals and its Lost Omens companion book. We are going to be getting a total of 8. One more. There you go. 8 class archetypes. So that's a little different than normal archetypes. Predominantly, so we're going to read real quick what class archetypes do. The class archetypes are archetypes with the class trait, and they fundamentally diverge from your class's specialties, but still fit the same theme of your class. So it's almost like the subclasses, but it changes more than that, and it's not a default choice. You got to use feat choices to get it, or if you're using free archetype, you can take your free archetype slots to get the class archetypes. You can select a class archetype only if your class meets the criteria listed in the archetype's prerequisite, so that's not terribly uncommon, other than they're class specific. Most archetypes do have some prerequisites. Class archetypes always alter or replace some of your class's static class features in addition to any new feats they offer. So these will fundamentally change how your class works on some level, and then give you access to some new feats. It might be possible to take a class archetype at first level if it alters or replaces some of the class's initial class features. The first level ability is presented much like a class feature and includes the class archetype's prerequisites and rules on how it changes your class. If you select this ability, you must take the archetype dedication feat at second level, and you proceed normally afterwards. You can never have more than one class archetype. So a little more complicated. You can't just grab an archetype and run with it. It has to be very specific to your class, and it's going to fundamentally change how your class works. These remind me much more of how archetypes worked in Pathfinder 1st edition. And yeah, there could be some really good stuff there. So let's kind of go into the ones they talked about. We have the Battle Harbinger. This is for the cleric, and it's going to make them more melee focused. I've heard some people speculate that it might be more like the Paladin of old. I think we might see something a little closer to the Omdura, if you're familiar with that from 1st edition, which was a favorite class of mine. So I'm looking forward to see what that gives us. We've got the Rivthun Emissary, which it didn't say which class this is attached to, but I'm going to guess it's the cleric also. This will tap into dwarven ancestors more than divine power for your magic. And then the Palatine Detective, and the last one coming from the Lost Omens book. And this one will be a modification onto your Inquisitor, or I'm sorry, not your Inquisitor. I wish we could get an Inquisitor, onto your Investigator. And this will give them divine magic as an Investigator. Now, another thing that was mentioned, not mentioned at all in the live stream, but was in the release, is that the actual the war book, the Primary War of Immortals, will be getting you 5 class archetypes. They only named 2 of them, the Rogue Avenger, or I'm sorry, the Avenger Rogue, which doesn't. I went looking through all the Pathfinder 1 stuff, tried to see if there was anything that kind of sounded like that name, and it seems to be entirely new. My best guess is it's going to be a rogue with some sort of divine aspect to it. And then the other one they named was the Blood Rager Barbarian, which the Blood Rager was a hybrid class in Pathfinder 1st Edition. It was one of my favorite classes there. It basically took the Barbarian, but when you got angry, instead of just getting stronger, you got access to magic. And I think that is a pretty cool class feature. I'm real excited to see how that works out in the Blood Rager archetype for 2nd Edition. Some other things that we already knew were coming with the War of Immortals. You're going to get the Mythic, the rules for Mythic. So if you enjoyed playing Mythic Adventures in Pathfinder 1st Edition, you will now have access to them in 2nd Edition. There will be 9 Mythic destinies, so 9 different paths that your Mythic can take. We'll be getting new weapons and items and spells, all catered around Mythic characters. 8 new terrifying Mythic monsters, and the rules for making your own Mythic monsters. So a lot of things that have been missing from 1st Edition are finally arriving here in 2nd Edition, and I am always super excited when we get new classes and new ways that you can build characters and play the game. There's also like a god dying or something with this. I don't play in Galarian, so I'm a little less excited about it. But it is, for those who haven't seen it and don't mind the spoilers, it is Gorham. Yes, so Amiri will be super sad. I'm playing Kingmaker again as another playthrough, and now every time she's like, Gorham's witness me, and Gorham's going to be dead. I just feel bad for her. So with that, that is everything new coming. With the release schedule of this year, we also have Core 2 coming, so we're going to get changes to the Alchemist and the Champions to bring them in line with the remaster. So lots of great content coming from Pathfinder. If you have any questions or you saw something that I missed, drop it in the comments. Please give us a like and subscribe, and we will see you next time on 20 Sided Adventures.